What is up, dudes? Lady dudes, this is the second time I'm recording this video because the first time I rambled for too long and realized it was like 6 minutes in and I hadn't even started discussing what I wanted to discuss in the first place, so I'm going to be better in this one. Anyway, we're back for a little discussion video. Sort of. It's like a discussion with like a little bit of news thrown in. So pretty much I was looking at Yu-Gi-Oh! Organization. Shout out to them. They're always phenomenal with Yu-Gi-Oh! With news relevant to our game that we play. I love them. They're great. And I saw that they posted a little thing about the YCS in Japan, Osaka, and I thought there were some pretty interesting things over here. I looked through it, and I usually don't even look through this stuff, but I looked through it and I was like, whoa, that's kind of crazy. So looking at this, nothing crazy here. I don't want to, this isn't a news video, so I just want to get to the basis of what this is. But pretty much they're playing a 7-round Swiss. Matches last 25 minutes, and they're best of 1 duels. This is not best 2 out of 3. This is best of 1. One and done. 1 quick duel and it's over. Bloop, bloop. And then next round. Which is crazy, and even more so crazy, the event is double elimination. The moment you hit X2, you're out. So you can only lose 1 time, and other than that, you have to be at least 6-1 to move on to top cut, which is pretty freaking insane. So I just thought this was a really interesting topic to talk about. Like, how much does Yu-Gi-Oh! Change? Like, there's so many factors that would change if this was how the tournament structure was adapted. If everything was 1 round like 1 round best of 1 duels. So there's no game 2 or game 3, which means side decks just don't exist because there's no game 2 or 3 to side in cards. Like they just wouldn't exist. Which then pushes us into like deck building, which means every deck you build needs to be as round as possible, especially if you have something like this where you hit X2, you're out, which means you have such small margin of error, which means you cannot have holes in your deck. You need to have as little holes as possible so that you don't get exploited for those holes. You know what I mean? Like, some people play decks that don't even play hand traps. Not a lot of decks, but some decks do this where they're like, I just skip hand traps and I say, I'm going to just let my deck do what it do, and then if I need hand traps, they're in my side deck, and I side those in for game 2 or 3, depending on going first, going second, whatever the situation is for my deck, and they roll like that. But this is, you just play 1 game. If we're talking about if you play going first deck, it's going to be really, really tough. And that's the other thing too, is like with deck building, you can't build a deck specifically to go first. You can't build a deck specifically to go, maybe going second, because a lot of people probably will prefer to go first. So you still will have a good chance to just go second a lot of times. So it would be fine. But I feel like just the amount of like stress this would put, I think it's crazy. It would mean that like tournaments would go by so much quicker. Like, think about it. If you had 25-minute rounds, like max, you're probably looking at 45-minute rounds, right? Like total. I'm talking total between start the round, boom, we're starting the next round. It's been 45 minutes, something like that. That's pretty crazy if you can think of it that way. And then you're looking at 7 rounds of Swiss going by in 5 hours, and then you even have time for top cut, which means you can probably do the whole tournament in 1 day. And I think they are planning to do it here. Yeah, there you go. Like the event goes from like 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. They're doing it all in 1 day because they can break this huge tournament up and make the rounds so much shorter. I just think it's wild to think about. I think it would force people to build the most well-structured deck as possible in all factors, especially when we're in a metagame like right now. And I think the OCG might even be a little bit more diverse than we are. We're both very diverse right now, but maybe the OCG a little bit more. You need to build your deck as well-rounded as possible so that you have some way to take on every single matchup. If you don't play back row removal in your entire deck, what happens when you play Altergeist? What happens when you play Subtears? What happens when you play, Salamangrates? Like, you lose. If you don't necessarily straight up lose, but it's going to be very tough in those matchups. If you play, but then that's the other thing. If you have to play hard back row removal, so I'm talking like Twin Twisters, Heavy Storm Duster, those are cards that you can just draw against Thunder Dragons, you know, Guard Dragons, Crusadia Guard Dragons, any of these combo decks, Orcus, that do not really play back row, and you're just sitting there like, wow, I drew this. And it literally does nothing. It's just a complete blank in this matchup. So it really forces you to think super hard. It makes deck building so much more precise because you need to have as most well-rounded a list as possible, where you have something for everything, but you don't like see stuff that you don't need in certain situations. And people can't just, I guess you could, if it's like your meta call, play a ton of hand traps, but if you do and you play something that's not very weak to hand traps and you draw 2 or 3 of them, you'll probably just lose that duel. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, like, cards like Droll would not see play unless like the top 3 decks were like really weak to Droll, or something like that. You know what I mean? So I think this is wild. I think this is a really interesting like format for doing tournaments, and I just want to talk about it a little bit. I'm curious. I just want to throw it out there. Like, just think about it. Just a little thought thing for you. I wasn't sure what to do yet. I do have some deck profiles in the works, but I don't think they were quite ready yet. So I did want to just get a video out to you, and I thought this was super interesting, so I wanted you guys to hear this. Now, that's pretty much it for the video, I think. Other thing that is kind of messed up is they like to attend the tournament, you have to buy this Witchcraft duel set. You have to buy a playmat, 100 pack of sleeves, and a secret rare Sabotage. I don't know how much that would go for, but like, if they make you show this and pay to enter the tournament, like pay an entry fee, that's fucked up. And even this is going to be more of an entry fee than whatever the entry fee is now, I think, right? It's 20, isn't it usually $20? I don't even know, but that's brutal. That's brutal. That's messed up. How you going to like if it's a good product, people will buy it. Like, how are you going to force people to buy it just to attend like an actual legit tournament for once in Japan? We see all these tiny ass tournaments that aren't even like that big, and then when you actually have a big tournament, you have to like get this like expensive ass set. I don't know how expensive it is, but I'm assuming it's decent. I mean usually the playmats go for a decent amount. Sleeves can go for $10, especially the printed ones like these with the like characters on them. And I don't know how much a secret rare of Sabotage would be, but I don't know. That's weird to me too. But guys, let me know. Main thing, let me know what you think about this weird time rules / no side deck, forcing players to just play the most perfect, consistent main decks that they can, without being able to side in, you know, whatever fills in the cracks of whatever their decks have. Let me know what you think about that format and how you think that would be interpreted here. If you like it, if you don't like it, if you think it's better for the game, worse for the game, let me know. Cool. Just some thought stuff there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.